Let's talk about the stress axis. You know, the one running your life behind the scenes. The HPA axis. Hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal. Sounds fancy. It's your body's internal crisis command center. The problem? It doesn't know the difference between a war zone and a Zoom call. When it's working, it's elegant. Cortisol rises in the morning, gets you moving, helps you burn fat, and keeps your brain from melting when the coffee runs out. But when stress is chronic, deadlines, bills, your kid's Minecraft meltdown, the system goes rogue. Cortisol stops being your morning boost and becomes your 24/7 panic narrator. Now let's talk symptoms. Not, I'm a little tired, but why does the air feel emotionally heavy? You wake up exhausted. Your brain's on airplane mode. You can't handle a grocery line without a fight or flight surge. Small things feel catastrophic. You're emotionally buffering with snacks, rage scrolling TikTok, and rewatching shows because novelty feels unsafe. This is not you being sensitive. This is neurohormonal collapse. Your body isn't stressed. It's stuck in stress. Like a car alarm that won't shut off. Your cortisol just keeps howling while your DHEA sits in the corner filing HR complaints. Let's zoom in on the damage. Cortisol running too hot for too long? Say goodbye to thyroid conversion. T4 just looks at T3 and says, you handle it. Spoiler, it doesn't. Your DHEA, down. That's your hormonal cushion, your anti-aging, anti-anxiety support crew. It's flatlined. Your insulin, elevated. Because stress makes you crave carbs, but your cells aren't letting glucose in. You're inflamed, insulin-resistant, and probably hangry. Also, dopamine, shot, serotonin, burned. You're not mentally weak, you're biochemically bruised. So now we test. You don't guess your way out of burnout. You run AM cortisol between 7 to 9 AM, because that's when your body's supposed to be ready for battle. If it's below 300, that's not readiness. That's collapse. DHEAS tells us how much backup you've got. FT3 tells us whether your thyroid's showing up for work. Fasting insulin shows if your cells have boarded up the windows. We might even check sex hormones, because estrogen and progesterone love to ghost the system when cortisol throws tantrums. So when is rhodiola your herb? When cortisol is high but you're also tired. When you feel wired but can't focus. When your brain feels like molasses but your body's jittery. Mid-burnout. You're not a husk yet, but you're circling the drain. Rhodiola shines in that space where cortisol's up, but not gone. You still have some spark. It just needs redirection. Think of rhodiola as a cortisol whisperer. Not a sedative, not a stimulant, a rebalancer. But let's not get reckless. Rhodiola is not for total adrenal flatline. If your cortisol is in the basement, your DHEA is MIA, and standing up feels like an Olympic sport. Slow down. This isn't your herb yet. In that case, you build back first. Nutrients. Sleep. Gentle adaptogens like ashwagandha. Emotional boundaries. Light exposure. Rhodiola isn't a spark plug. It's a tuning fork. You don't start with it. You graduate to it. Dosing? 200 to 400 milligrams in the morning. Never at night unless your sleep goal is existential dread. Always take it with food. Otherwise your stomach's going to scream. Look for 3% rosavins and 1% salidroside. That's the clinical ratio. Not the sprinkle of unicorn root you get from bargain bin bottles. And cycle it. 6 weeks on, 1 off. Herbs don't like to be overworked either. Stack it with smart habits. Sunlight in your face by 8:30 a.m. Protein at breakfast. Not croissants, protein. Caffeine? Delay until after food. Your cortisol doesn't need more gasoline at 6:30 a.m. Evening. Shut it down. Screens off by 8:30 p.m. Wind down like it's your job. Your melatonin doesn't stand a chance if you're bathing in blue light and murder documentaries. How do you know it's working? You don't crash by noon. Your moods don't swing like a wrecking ball. Focus returns. You don't feel amazing. You feel like yourself again, which, let's face it, has felt impossible. You don't want hype. You want stability. That's what rhodiola brings, with a side of, oh, my brain works again. If you feel nothing, check the labs. You might have needed foundational repair before you introduced this adaptogen. Or your thyroid's still throwing shade. Or you're sleeping 5 hours and living on snack bars. This is biofeedback, not failure. Adjust, repair, reassess. Rhodiola's not a miracle pill. It's a hormone harmonizer. Recap time. Know your stress stage. Use labs to confirm. Match your adaptogen to your cortisol curve. Anchor your rhythm with sunlight, movement, and meals cycle. Reassess. Respect the process. Your stress isn't a personality flaw. It's a neuroendocrine signal. You're not meant to live on adrenaline and anxiety. Let Rhodiola be your wingman while you rebuild.